The reason why the NFL is investigating Tyreek Hill has nothing to do with the fact that the Dolphins stink. It has everything to do with the fact that the police keep having to show up where he is because he's involved with domestic disturbances way too often. I'm not talking about a one-off thing here. I'm talking about the reality that if you go back and look at the number of times that he has had issues with his significant other, with his wife, with another woman, it would strike you that, wow, one time, there may be a situation where there was a fight that just went wrong, out of control. Anyone who's married or been married can say, I get that, even though I don't get that at all. As angry as I've ever been, putting your hands on your wife or having your wife put her hands, it's preposterous. Maybe the Dolphins are loving the distraction of the fact that Tyreek Hill is getting investigated by the NFL so people can ignore the fact that they absolutely stink or that they're in full panic mode and that Mike McDaniel is coaching for his job in week 2. Is that possible? That Chris Grier is GMing for his job in week 2? Is that possible? Well, they did not do themselves any favors by having a players-only meeting after their loss to the Colts 33-8. It's too early. I'm a big fan of the players-only meeting. I like it at the right time. I like it as a way to get the team together. I think it's important to feel the power as a player, get the coaching staff out of there, get the president, the GM, get them all out of there, and then sit down and look yourselves in the mirror and say, wow, this collection of players stinks. Do you think that's what a bad team ever does? Do you think that it's only a good team that has a players meeting that looks at themselves and says, man, we're so good, we're playing so badly, we have to meet? Or is there a meeting because a bad team is playing badly and they're really bad because they're bad? And do they look at each other in a players only meeting and shrug their shoulders and say, man, what are we supposed to do? This collection of talent is ass. God, that would be a funny players-only meeting if they come out of that and they talk to the meeting. They say, hey, we looked at each other, we smiled and said, yeah, we're about a 2-15 team. Have a good season. That would be a funny players-only meeting. It would be the only one of the year, that's for sure. I have a feeling that's not what this one was about. I have a feeling the Dolphins feel like they're at least a 10-7 team that should be in the conversation for making the playoffs in the AFC. I mean, delusion's delusion. You can have it until you lose your 8th game, and then you're not ever going to be 10-7. I like the fact that Tua is trying to take charge. I got the offense together, and we had a meeting about things that we wanted to do to hang our hats on this week, points of emphasis, and how we want to go about it this week. I always enjoy player quotes like this. Because if they had won the game against the Colts, would you agree that the way they went about it was the right way? The fact that they lost to the Colts, does that definitionally mean that the way they went about it was wrong and has to change? I don't have a great answer for that. What if you have a great approach against a slider, against a particular pitcher, and it just didn't work out? I don't want to change the way you prepared. I don't want to change the way you went about your business. I can't wait for the result to change. It's a math game. Eventually the results will change. But if you keep changing the preparation, then you're subject to the math really screwing you, where you keep getting the same result with using a different approach. That's when you have to say to yourself, this players only team meeting may be to look at ourselves and say we're not good. I don't know. I just don't exactly know what they're going to get out of the team meeting. But there was a lot of communication, the players said after, so that's good. Jordan Brooks said the meeting was just kind of making sure that everybody's together. Let me stop right there. Jordan, what does that mean? I've never been in a clubhouse or in a locker room where everybody's together. I promise you there is not a football team where everybody's together. Too many people. You can't get in a room with your own significant other and say that everybody's together. Forget like 5 people or 20 or 50 or 70, but I digress. Let's pretend that the meeting was had with the Dolphins, players only, and somehow everything's and everybody's together. Did they take a poll? How would they discover whether everyone's together? Did they ask a question? Hey, what's 2 + 2? Can we get a show of hands of those who think it's 4? We are together. I like it. Jordan Brooks kept going, though. When you lose like that, it's easy for people to get discouraged, start looking, questioning maybe yourself or others. So making sure we're all locked back in, making sure that the belief is still there. Bingo.